Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be doing a little natal chart analysis of Coral Lytle, and it's a solar sunrise chart because I obviously don't have the time of birth available. She was born on August 21st, 1977, Sun in Leo. Many of you may have heard of Coral Lytle of Tulare, California. She made a splash recently for more details emerging regarding being accused, or at least allegedly, having sex with minors, both boyfriends of her daughter. Now, this took place at the time when she was married, and the husband, I believe, subsequently filed for a divorce shortly afterwards. Nothing bewildering or shocking about that. Now, she is obviously involved in a salacious adult minor story, to say the least. There's certainly nothing minuscule or minor about this story, though. And she had changed her plea to guilty. And when I looked at her chart, there are a number of indicators for this behavior, I believe. When you look at it now, first of all, she has Mars in Gemini conjunct Jupiter. Now, Mars in Gemini may be sexually attracted to younger people. There can be often about superficial liaisons and interludes. Mars in Gemini can often not be satisfied with one partner. The conjunction to Jupiter may have exacerbated, so to speak, or enlarged this tendency, I believe. And the thing about it is she also has the Black Moon Lilith in Gemini as well. Now, when you're talking about the Black Moon Lilith in a natal chart, this placement can be this energy, the things that are associated with it we don't want unveiled, may put one in a state of trepidation if it is unveiled. And perhaps this played a role, I believe, in the salacious behavior with younger men. Now, the Black Moon Lilith can also show this very strong, uninhibited, unrestrained, erotic, sexual energy. Gemini is also the zodiac sign, I believe, that would correspond with early education. Now, in a very isolated or very extreme negative manifestation of this energy, the Black Moon Lilith in Gemini, it could have perhaps played a role in sexual attraction to people that were actually in their early education. Now, also in the solar sunrise chart, she has Pisces at the dreaded 22nd degree on the 8th house cusp. Now, this could indicate unrealistic sexual liaisons, and one of the rulers of that 8th house falls in her 4th house in this chart. And of course, I mean, this could indicate her being very much at home with this. Also in her chart, her Pluto squares her Venus, which could indicate manipulative tendencies as far as the sensual or feminine side of sex goes. I believe in that part where you want to appease others. Now, I believe one of that accused her of having sex with him, one of these minors, had stated she would drive over to where they were and provide cigarettes and alcohol to them. Now, perhaps this was done to loosen them up, so to speak, for more amenable intercourse. Venus being in Cancer in her chart, this could indicate that sensual feminine side of sex that is about appeasing the other person. This was about being motherly and nurturing toward these people, perhaps. And the thing about this is Cancer on the 12th house cusp is in her chart, in this solar sunrise chart. It's at 29 degrees. Now, 29 degrees in astrology is the anaretic. It's a critical degree. It could be a degree that's connected with crisis. So being in Cancer, of course, this could be over home and family related matters, which of course could be tied in to one's secret sorrows. But Cancer also in a negative manifestation, the zodiac sign Cancer, I believe, can be connected with promiscuity and looseness in sexual matters. Now, excuse me, the 12th house in astrology rules incarceration. So this could be about potentially doing jail time over these actions, depending on what the judge decides. Now, the thing about this is Her moon is likely in Scorpio depending on the time of birth. If she was born between about 12 a.m. and 8 p.m., that would give a Scorpio moon as opposed to a Sagittarius moon, which of course it's over 80% chance her moon would be in Scorpio based on the probable time of birth. Now, I lean more with Scorpio moon over Sagittarius in her case. I believe she resonates a lot more with it, and the percentages say mathematically that it's in that sign, given that, like I stated before, if she was born between approximately 12 p.m. and 8 p.m., she would have a Scorpio moon as opposed to having a Sagittarius moon. Now, a Scorpio moon, assuming she does have this, can give a negative, very negative expression, can give very distorted sexual inclinations. Now, in this chart, in the solar sunrise chart, it falls at 21 degrees in her third house, and it's very close to that dreaded 22nd degree. It also makes an inconjunct aspect to her Mars in Gemini. Now, perhaps this suggests that variety can be the spice of life, so to speak, and perhaps the negative qualities were coming out in both placements as a result now of that aspect. Now, in her chart also, she has Uranus and Scorpio in the third house. Now, this could indicate perhaps unusual, bizarre sexual interludes and escapades with younger people. In some isolated cases, this could be ones that could be still in early education, because the third house is connected with early education. And also, this could also manifest in having unusual sexual related short journeys. Now, she also has what I would call a long mutable T-square configuration, which consists of a long opposition between Mars in Gemini and Neptune in Sagittarius, with the focal point being Mercury in Virgo conjunct her second house cusp in the solar sunrise chart. Now, the opposition to me, this suggests perhaps that one could be trying to fulfill unrealistic sexual fantasies, perhaps largely attributed to wanting more than one partner, given that Mars is in Gemini. Now, also, I see Neptune in Sagittarius, though this is a generational planet. It could be associated with sensationalism that has that element for adventure, given that Neptune is in Sagittarius. Now, Mercury in Virgo, again, that's the focal point of this mutable T-square configuration. Mercury in Virgo conjunct the second house cusp. That perhaps is maybe able to satisfy, it's that overcompensation point of this configuration, perhaps able to satisfy that opposition in a way by perhaps it's what it is, it's about her mind being motivated toward purchases that were actually to the detriment of one's health. In this case, since we're talking about the second house, it's about buying and selling, and we have the we look at this as well. This is about this is a thing where again, the focal point being Mercury in Virgo conjunct the second house cusp, being able to basically, that's in a configuration of a T-square, that's generally that over-accentuation point, that overcompensation point, which satisfies that need that could be associated with this opposition. And this is what she made sure she did, because apparently she had been buying drugs, some kind of, I don't know if it was cigarette, I believe it was cigarettes and alcohol. And I think this was done again to kind of loosen these people up, so to speak, that she was having these liaisons with these minors, assuming, I mean, this is true. And anyway, now the thing about this too is she is currently she is experiencing a lot of acrimony connected with this situation. Now, I think a lot of this is because, well, let me rewind first, people. I'm sorry. She's currently going through her Mars return in Gemini. Now, because of this, she may be experiencing much acrimony connected with this situation. Now, given that this is in Gemini, this could be largely attributed to news reporting, gossiping associated with this incident. Now, the thing about it is, when new details regarding the accusations recently emerged, the transit Black Moon Lilith in Aquarius was very close to her 7th house cusp in the solar sunrise chart. Now, this could indicate revelations and unveilings in connection with unorthodox, unusual relationships that, in this case, very erotic, very sexual. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. And also, this transit of the Black Moon Lilith in Aquarius made a very tight opposition to her natal sun in Leo. Now, this may have taken a toll on that near inexorable, indefatigable Leo sun energy and vitality, given that this was making an opposition to it. Now, the transit Pluto and Saturn being in that 5th house can manifest in difficulties in matters with children. Saturn transiting one's 5th house, of course, could indicate certain despondency, certain restrictions in matters with her children, and Pluto can just downright obliterate matters in the house that it may be in, that it's in. And given we're talking about the 5th house, I mean, a lot of this energy with Saturn and Pluto being in it now in her solar sunrise chart, this could be manifesting a lot of restrictions and sorrow as far as Saturn goes in connection with children. And also, I mean, Pluto again can downright obliterate and destroy connections. And I'm sure this has obviously taken a toll on the relationship with her daughter, given that she had these allegedly had these affairs, had these sexual liaisons and interludes or what have you with her daughter's boyfriend. So anyway, the thing about it is I want to talk about a few other things in connection with their chart. Now, the Sun in Leo and likely Moon in Scorpio, the way this could have manifested perhaps how they work together with her. Sun in Leo, the basic want could be to dominate. Then you have it flavored with the Moon in Scorpio. Perhaps this was done through sexual means and through some kind of manipulation. And in this case, too, she also has, I've noticed in her chart, she has a preponderance of planets on the left side of the chart. So in the solar sunrise chart, this could indicate somebody very self-reliant, very independent, very self-starting, and having a lot of enterprise, not really needing the cajoling or coaxing of others to initiate things and get things started. So when she was having, allegedly having these liaisons with these minors, I mean, she really... really didn't need much motivation from any outside force. She was going to do pretty much what she wanted to do. A lot of this, I think, was attributed to the fact she also has the majority of her major astrological influences in fixed signs. So this could give a lot of willful and intransigent, intractable energy that she was going to do whatever she wanted, when she wanted to do it. And she wasn't going to have a lot of procrastination in doing it, given she has most of those planets on that left side of her chart, that she was going to do what she wanted to do very independently. And the thing about it is, another thing I've noticed too is that she currently has the transit Sun in Taurus is making a conjunction to her natal Chiron in Taurus. So this could be shining the light, so to speak, on lewd type behavior. I mean, Taurus in a negative manifestation could really, energy could succumb to depravity and things that are very lewd. And in this case, it's in her 9th house of global communication. So this is a time where that Sun energy is shining the light perhaps on this depraved activity she was likely involved in, and being Chiron, conjuncting Chiron, that she's obviously feeling some suffering and repercussions because of this. Now, another thing too is when I look at this as well, is that when she's going to have, from what I saw, there's going to be the new court date. The next court appearance for her, apparently it's going to be June 17th, 2019. At this time, interestingly enough, there's going to be a full moon in Sagittarius. It's going to be very close to her 5th house of children. Sagittarius, of course, can be about the veritable truth, veracity, and also the law. So it wouldn't surprise me if maybe something more may come out at this time about these connections with these minors. And maybe the judge is going to lay down the law, so to speak. Maybe there's going to be closure at this time because of this. And at that time as well, transit Uranus is going to be making a tight conjunction to her natal Chiron in Taurus. So it could be something very shocking that may take place as far as maybe getting closure on this situation, on this legal matter. So with her. So anyway, people, well, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for astrology and Coral Lytle. Stay tuned next time, where I'm going to be giving you my Libra May 2019 horoscope forecast, part 2 of 2. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.